We carry you in our hearts. We feel your energy, greatness that is in all life forms. Once the respect for that is realized, then you do have a paradise without judgment. That's the kind of world I want to live in with you guys.
Wow. Because there is very little to no value in judgment.
No.
Now, clearly, if there's a raging river and one bridge doesn't look so good and one bridge looks really good, that judgment is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Virtually all other forms of judgment, it's a self-centered emotion about making something else not as good.
Right.
And you don't need to do that. There's no value to it.
That feels like the dividing point.
Yeah.
And people stronger together.
And actually, all you're doing is separating yourself from the eternal love and light and energy that sees everything in non-judgmental form. And what you're doing is actually putting yourself outside of that by doing that. Inside of that, there isn't anything because everything is pretty much perfect the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good
That
stuff.
is good.
Love it.
What is
How you
going
doing,
on, crew? What is going on? It's a nice little freezing cold Sunday here.
Freezing cold. What is it? 60 degrees there?
Yeah. Well,
come on.
Not me. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of Becky right now, where it's negative 2 degrees. And cows are freezing to death standing up right now, and the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. It looks like a scene out of Krypton. I just hope it warms up. Looks like we're getting some weather this week, and then hopefully we're gonna get maybe a little springtime. Hey, Bobby, wanted to say hi to Bobby G. While he's on his drive to Nebraska today.
Oh, cool!
Shout out to you, bro.
We'll try to entertain you.
Yes,
to some degree.
We'll do our best. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, my internet wet the bed. We'll go with that. Okay, so how you doing? What's happening? What do you?
Man, I'm doing really good. Got to kick it with my nieces yesterday. Got to made a really cool plan. I want to share this today. It was I came at this years ago when I moved away and started to do the yachting thing. I just had it in my brain that I wanted to be the best guy. I wanted to be not just somebody that my dad would be proud of, and could recommend, but all his friends could, and all the people that got to know me would see what I've got to give. And so I wrote out a plan for all the things I got going in my life. And I want to kind of achieve the highest level or the end game of what I'd like to do with those things this year. And it's really cool to think about with the crew. So much of it is just geared into going to Vegas. Obviously providing good content on Sundays, and I want to start doing Patreon with other crew members here. So that's going to be really the start of that. But just everything in my life is so good, man. It's so good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. How about you, Dad?
Same. I'm too busy to really stop and take inventory as to how life is going. So I think that's a really good thing in some cases. but I was just on the phone with somebody right before the show, and he was kind of new to our channel. Only been around a couple of months, and he was saying, "Wow, you really resonate with me, and this and that, and thank you so much for calling me back." And I was like, it came to me, right? It's like we all learn from each other. We're all learning together, and we're all yet in a family, so we kind of share the same knowledge. We bounce it around to each other, which is good and bad. But what I realized was where I've achieved with this channel and where my life is on this social media platform is I get to learn and from everybody that I get to speak to, because what I've learned over social media and whatnot is that you're only as smart as the channels you listen to or the perspectives that you listen to. Yeah. And I'm blown away at the caliber and the talent and the knowledge base that I talk to. Every single time I talk to somebody on the phone, it blows my mind. Like, wow, like these people should have their own show. These people, I'd love to just talk to this person like weekly and put them on the show. But yeah, it's what I realize is that we're all getting pretty well educated here. And we're knowing a lot more about the monetary system than most people in the public. And what I truly appreciate more than ever before is that people want to talk to me. Like, people want to talk to me. Like, do you know how cool that is? It's like, well, I don't know. No, man, I'm learning more from you. Like, but the door is open for me to learn from other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm really respecting that now. It's people go, oh, well, thank you for your time. I don't mean to take too much of your time. It's like, no, man, you're not taking, it's not an obligation of mine. I'm getting more out of this than I'm giving, like I'm the selfish guy here. And when you see it like that, it's just like, wow, look at where we're going with this. Man, it's so cool. And it's not just about crypto, by the way. It's life and spirituality and universe and what we all want from the future of this planet. It's just brilliant stuff. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm doing. In a nutshell.
I got a text from Theo this week, and
I see him in the chat here.
Yeah, he wanted to talk, and I'm like, dude, you want to be on one of the Patreon videos with me? I still will never forget our first conversation. He's like, hey, dude, you want to cruise outside and have a chat? I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Where are you coming from, bro? What do you eat for breakfast? And he laid like this really cool crypto project on me at the time, and family and what he's tried to do over the course of a while now, and it's we've got a lot to learn from each other. I really like that rant, Dad. We do. We got some cool stuff in the chat here, as always. Safe travels to Bobby. Yeah, he's bringing wine from California to Chicago. It's a strong move, brother. That's a very strong move. Highly recommend California wine if you are into it. We got a comment from Atlantic. Let's get to that, Dad.
Unbelievable. I'm sitting here. I just got to share this with everybody. I'm looking around and I'm saying there's something wrong here, man. I can smell it. I can't see it. I can't find it. And then, on the bottom of my boot.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys can see that. Right.
Look at that. Look at that California mountain hillbilly boot, man. Look at that guy right there.
California chicken boot. Unbelievable, man. You try and have a classy operation around here, but I was out feeding the chickens. It's too cold to take my boot off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what to do. I'm in a show dilemma here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just stepped right in it. Your boots like the market today. Just stepped right in it,
And everybody's blaming Trump. Oh, the tariffs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, speaking of, Dad, here we go. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to discuss. I want to learn more.
Okay.
Well, the ramifications, right?
I'm just going to put the boot back on in case anybody's wondering. There's not much I can do about it in an hour-long show here.
No.
Pretend it's not down there. Keep going.
Any advice for Canadian friends? Our dearest Canadian friends. Everyone's freaking out over tariffs. 95% seem to chime in with the media. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I have a lot of advice for Canadians. Move. I lived there for 4 years, as you know, Brent. Loved it. Spectacular place in the world. Incredible people. Probably the kindest and nicest people you ever want to meet. The only people that I can really compare them with is like people in the South. Everybody I met in Canada was polite. Toronto's a big city, so that, whatever. But like the rest of Canada, everybody is insanely incredible people. The socialism there is off the charts and it's absurd. So instead of moving, I would say circle your prime minister's house and just fog him with cow manure until he leaves. Just fog him, follow him, spraying it on his vehicle and everything around him until he leaves your country. It's not political or financial advice. I'm just saying the guy, I don't know. I don't think he's helped you out at all. I think he's really kind of made a lot of big mistakes and alienated his people. The way he handled that whole truckers thing was just like, what? Like, you're calling your own citizens like Nazis? Like, who do you think you are? Speaking of judgment, well, like, who do you think you are? You work for those people, no matter what their opinion is or what their lifestyle is. As a leader, that doesn't matter. You don't get to say, oh, I like this lifestyle or that. These political leaders these days have lost their minds thinking that we work for them. They don't understand. Like, it doesn't matter if they're not Nazis, but even if they were, you represent them. Do you understand that? Like, you don't get to choose who you like in your nation. And anyway, I don't know why I went on a tangent of that, but Canadians, these tariffs aren't going to affect your life at all, period. Okay. The money that is going to exchange hands is going to come back to you in more sales. You understand that? This is commerce. This is monetary system. Don't listen to mainstream media at all. Tell you the tariffs are bad. The reason why I knew that Canada was in trouble with their leadership the other day when I heard the Prime Minister speak, and here's how you can live your life. This is great advice for everybody. When they use emotion, okay? Whenever they challenge another prime minister or president, in this case, decision on a financial basis, and they use emotions to stir you, it's a psyop. Period. It's a psyop. because they're wanting you to get emotional about something. They're showing you all the negatives, and they're telling you, oh, it's going to cost you more at the pump, and this is all the bad stuff. Because really the 800-pound gorilla in the back room is, you've been buying Chinese goods for cheap and selling them in America at a profit. That's the reality. And Trump's calling him out on it, going, hey, no, whoa, stop. No, we see what you're doing. We're not stupid. Like, you're profiting off of us. Let's stop that. Here's how we're going to stop that. If you look at the big picture, that's what's happening. This whole NAFTA thing, all those agreements they made with Carter and all that, all of those were so that Mexico and Canada could make money off selling stuff to American people. I'm generalizing very much so. But explain to me how Canada lives such a luxurious lifestyle per capita. And yet they spend ridiculous amounts of money on socialism. You know, every Canadian will tell you, well, we have free healthcare. How about you guys? But every Canadian, whenever they need a specialist, they go to America. Every one of them. Well, when I lived there, yeah. I'm not bagging on Canadians at all. Love them. And then task. I married one. Hello. And anyway,
yeah.
So tariffs are a big nothing burger. Every country profits off other countries in different ways. The difference of what Trump is doing compared to what other leaders prior to Trump doing, he is taking the money, he's putting it in the Treasury. Remember, this is a competition between Trump and the Fed, the Treasury, and central bankers globally. This is why he doesn't want CBDCs. He wants the money to go to the people, the Treasury to the people. CBDC is your federal government, the Fed, okay, or central bankers bypassing the Treasury and the banking system and going, that's what a CBDC is. It's going from the Federal Reserve directly into your bank account. Therefore, controlling the citizens of each nation through central banking system. He's eliminating that. He's saying, no. We're American, you're Canadian. We're not all globalists here. And he's doing it with math and tariffs. In a nutshell, that's what's going on. And I wouldn't panic about it.
Gotcha.
It's not going to change the value or the price of anything. And they keep throwing inflation in our face and blaming inflation on this. The ridiculous absurdness of that is just beyond me. When they say that they write bills, which we talk about every weekend, but they write bills and spend $1 trillion and say it's the Anti-Inflation Act. You just print $1 trillion for that. Nothing. That's going to solve inflation.
The irony.
The irony of it all. Right.
Here you go, Dad. These are in order. These are in order here. Okay, we've just got shoes from Becky. Okay. We've got mierda from Tracy. Hoofy's just laughing, and then the turd right there.
As long as I keep that boot on the ground and I only prop the other one up close to me, I'm good.
Yeah. Muddy, no time for crying. It's time for buying. Who's buying? Yeah. I am. Yep. I like corrections right now. Personally, I also don't like them because I saw the kind of position that $3 let's just say $3 an XRP made for people is a life-changing difference to a lot of people I know. So don't love that, but gives more of us an opportunity.
XRP is gonna. You heard it here first. It's gonna 5x from here before the end of the year. It's going to be $15 before the end of the year. It could be 30, it could be 50, I don't know, but it's going to be that for sure.
Yeah.
You know, short of big black swan. Yeah. At least, I'm going to say at least $15 this year. So, and that's not even going out on a limb.
BG House, welcome to the house. My wife uses PSYOP often then. Yeah. A lot of folks too. A lot of
Yeah. 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 That's what they do. That's what the system does. You know, you tug on your emotions. I talk about this one a lot, right? Is, you know, when they're lying to you, when the first thing they give you is emotions, you know, they're about to spread that frosting real thick. It's like, oh, you know, like 60 Minutes is notorious for this. They'll show you a little girl in Israel with her arm missing. This is a very opening scene. And from that point on, you just hate Palestinians. There's like, there is no more objectivity from that point on in the show, period. There is no, it's a slant. Because you're emotionally caught up, and they've triggered that human emotion of fear and pain and suffering and all of that into you. And then they just say, okay, well, here's the boogeyman, that mean old Trump guy.
Yeah. You know, I talked about it with so many people this week. You know, it was like when you have all these things being signed over and gived over, and you know, a big one was like the you know, getting the go ahead to open up like JFK RFK files. That's one that my parents and I went down forever. You know, there's talks of letting out all the alien documents. There's some crazy stuff. But I also got to wonder, you know, in which the text that it was created and why it was created, if that information is still accurate and real. You know, if the investigations themselves, if the facts themselves from the very beginning were cooked or not. And some of those things and some of those slants that we see in media, you know, it's very dangerous. And like, I used to be the guy that I was like, no, Dad, I want the truth. Okay. Right. And my dad's like, I don't know if you can handle the truth, son. It could get real hairy out there for you and everybody else. And I'm coming around to that point, Dad, because of that. It's the type of information that you choose to share. And, you know, is it factual? You know, is it reality? If it was reality, I think people could handle it in most cases. And if it's slanted, if it's baked, you know, to propel an agenda that might not be to the liking of the people, it's fun to have these things come out and be released and hear the truth, but I'm going to walk cautiously going forward in all of it. because of all
Yeah.
that, because everybody's, we're all getting news from somewhere. And a lot of that news that I've seen in my life is just not, it is not objective.
No.
And that's the way I'm just trying to live that way with my people, and my friends and my family. It's like, we talk about all this stuff, but I'd rather sit on the fence and look at both sides and come to some logic on what's going on here, what's going on there.
Yeah.
That's why I like the show. Yeah, that's why I like what you get on about. It's how do we stay big picture in this thing?
Yeah. I made a point to somebody the other day who is actually a banker, and although he's retired, he's home team now. He's a crew member now, and he owns quite a bit of XRP. But I made a point to him. He was talking about, because he watches a lot of mainstream TV. I can tell just by speaking with him. Mm-hmm. And I made a point, because he still has a lot of friends in the banking industry, and don't get me wrong, I think we need banking. Going forward, we're going to need a lot of banking. But so when he and I had a great conversation, it came down to this one point for me, which was, if the system, and I'm just going to say the whole system, in particular the last 4 years, really cared about investors or people or financial well-being of their citizens, the Gary Gensler would have been a man, and I'm not bagging on him in this case, but the whole system, not just him, would have been more about, okay, we understand that you want these because people have made a lot of money with them. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you should know about investing in this. Here are the precautions that you should take. Here's the things that are beneficial to you financially. Here are the risks. There was never an open, honest discussion about what cryptos are. There was absolutely no educational value in what the system or the government was presenting to its people. It was all drug dealers, money launderers. Okay. It's, again, just like somebody chatted in here, same thing happened with Brad Garlinghouse on the 60 Minutes interview. They take you directly to, these people are liars and thieves. That emotion, oh, I better not invest in that because they're liars and thieves. Well, okay, if you were honest and we could take your advice, 60 Minutes or the person that they interviewed, which is another SOB that's just maybe worse than Gensler, but if we really would want to take his advice as a public official, why don't you warn us as to why we should invest this or should not invest in this? Have schools, have educational programs, have a website that we could go to from the government, from the Pentagon, from wherever, to where we could learn about this stuff. I mean, after all, the man went to MIT and was teaching these courses to the future of American great minds, and yet he did no teaching to the rest of the public. He just simply said it's a really bad idea. Well, that's all emotion. That's all psyop right there. There's your proof. Mm-hmm. There was no help to the citizen, just saying it's bad and evil. Don't touch it. It's, so obvious. Their intentions are so obvious when you through social media and the internet, we've all grown brains in the last 20 years and said, wow, our government isn't perfect. You're kidding me.
They're not batting 1,000. Can't believe it. Them crooked vultures.
Yeah, right. They would never lie to us.
Bobby, I think the JFK file release is to protect Trump when he is going too hard after the Federal Reserve. Because JFK tried the executive order to end the Federal Reserve. That's a great point. Um,
JFK, 30 days prior to his execution, and that's what it was, gave one of the great speeches in American history. You can look it up. And he spoke very highly of two very important nations. Back then, they weren't all that important. Funny how he knew. Russia and China. He spoke highly of the fact that we could be friends and neighbors. He spoke very highly of their future prosperity together, the resources of Russia and the talent in the people of China, and how we could all commingle and have this glorious, incredible world. And there was a little group of people called the military industrial complex that absolutely did not want to see that happen. Period.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So there you go. And then, you got to have a boogeyman. Otherwise, you got no psyop.
Right.
We're all just running around happy all day,
Mm-hmm.
They got nothing to make us fear.
Yep.
Anyway, man, what? I should have a YouTube channel. I got something to say here. I can't believe people listen to it. But hey, there it is.
Man.
Sometimes it makes sense.
We got Evan in the house. We got Simon in the house. Frankie's here. We got the BG. We got Muddy. Chaka, what is going on? Yep. Chaka had the 60 minutes comment. SBF in the house. Scam Bank, man.
I've got to say.
Good to see you, Oak. Good to see you, Nicholas.
I caught about an hour of Simon's show the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you that are not watching Dip a Toe, you really, every now and then, they just hit it on the mark. I caught like an hour of it, and I was just like, wow, this is so good. Like, they had a bunch of guests on. It was just really good. Just people talking about what's happening and what's going on. You guys should really check that channel out if you don't.
Yeah.
It's like this channel, never going to have hundreds of thousands of viewers ever because it's too positive. It's the sky isn't falling. And, anyway.
Yeah, we already got people trying to call Al and I racists, and we've already got the heat of that, It's like, what?
Wow, I've been outed.
How did you? And it, what it comes from. I was thinking about it recently, and it's, engaging in any kind of political conversation. It's a trigger. That triggers people. Being objective or critical of what there he is. He's all handsome.
I'm my Jesse boy.
Holding others accountable who they love, is unpopular. People have a knee-jerk reaction with that. And it's just some of that stuff just, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be openly talked about without the knee-jerk reaction of it.
Hey.
And we'll be the first two to tell you we're not right about all of it, or maybe any of it. But
yeah, well, that would infer that
the love and the want for people in general is there. So I want you all to know that going forward. I think it'd be nice if we never made it to 100,000, because it would feel more like this. And this is good.
No.
Yeah, no.
I'm the only guy that I know that does not want to see his channel grow.
No, I just said the same thing, Dad. I agree.
Yeah. No way.
No.
I mean, it's great, but
mm-hmm.
you guys, the and it's all self-inflicted, right? But the responsibility that you put on yourself is like, it's always there. Oh, I got to make another video and I got to do another video. It's like there's people waiting for the video to be made, you know. Like how people do it every day is like beyond me. Some of them are just born to do it, obviously. But more viewers to me just means more people that I'm never going to be able to meet. And that kind of bums me out. It's sort of like, I'm never going to be able to meet some cool person that just signed up and they're 101,000 subscriber. How am I ever going to meet those people?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The quality of the people that we have now is so good that we want to meet all of you and listen to you. Melissa's in the house. Speaking of,
there she is.
You know, Melissa and Simon, here's a shout out to Dipito. They really have taught me how to be a better partner with my dad on here. They're so good at, I think we've been pretty good at it too, but they're so good at start and stop. Like one will just, you know, Simon will get all JoJo'd up and just start, you know, running. And I see that's how my dad is, you know, and that's gotta let him cook. And Melissa will hang back, you know, she'll
get out of the way.
Yeah. And then it's the same. It's Simon will lean back, you know, and then Melissa will like carry, and it's just they together, they are so smart. And I think they think objectively, and they talk about things that they get a little more in depth on, you know, specific projects and taxes and all these things. If you guys ever want any more in depth chats on specific topics and things, I really recommend their show.
They have the two key ingredients. Okay, they have a genuine caring for people. That's so important. Okay, if you genuinely care about your fellow man, you're going to be successful in life in one way or another. And the other thing they have is a knowledge, and so all of us explain or present our knowledge in different ways. And some people like resonate with the way you teach or the way you share what you know. And they both have that. They both have that ability to express what they know really well. So those two, that's all you need is that. A little bit of knowledge and a willing to help. And then you're good to go. Your fellow man. Yeah.
Dad, what do you think about the JP Morgan coin? WMB, what up? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
I just don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah. I was there's a certain channel that really promotes it, or promoted it in the last few weeks. Actually, you and I've met him, Brent, but anyway, they really promoted that coin. And we have to remember JP Morgan and Fidelity, I want to say all the way back in 2017, have been working on a coin since then. We heard about that back then. I know that actually Goldman Sachs actually hired two of the people that helped create Ethereum, hired them to create a coin for Goldman Sachs back then. Here's the thing, guys. Anybody can create a coin, and all the coins can have really good intentions. What's good? all the data and all the information and the way it's all being shared and used is pretty much the same. This is all just code, guys. This is software. It's not all that complicated to create your own coin. The question is it going to have the network effect, and is the world going to use your coin? If not, you better have a fundamental need for the coin. It better have utility and use case. That coin doesn't do it, in my opinion. That coin does. I looked into it, actually. That was a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't do anything that XRP doesn't do. It doesn't do anything that Cardano couldn't do. So for me, I was like, okay, well, these coins already have tens of millions of people following it. And that one has to start off from zero, and people don't like the company behind them. Are they going to adopt it? Adoption is going to be everything. I told a little story, and it's so important. When you look at why Las Vegas was floundering in the 90s, and it was stumbling on itself, it wasn't growing, and it wanted to. What they learned was through a couple of brilliant people, advertisers, who came in and took an objective look of Vegas and said, you don't have the poor people here. You're only looking at the wealthy people. Like, you need the public coming in here.
Right.
So then they started making the boardwalks wider, and they started making the walkability of in front of going from building to building to building as your experience now in Vegas. And as soon as they did that, the public came. And like, you have to understand that the money is in the public, the network effect, the masses. Like Trump coin, look at meme coins. Is it the product? Is it the quality of the product? No, it's worthless. Okay, it's worthless other than it has his name on it, or it has a picture of a dog with a hat. You know what? Like, it's so you need the public or the desire of somebody the feeling that, hey, I think I can get rich off this thing, which is what that channel promoted with that coin, by the way. In my opinion, I'm not going to speak negative of the person because I like him. I think his heart's in the right place. But I've never known a man to try and sell 4 different programs in 20 minutes to any public in every single show he does. And I'm just like, wow, dude, when is enough for you? And it's like, wow, you must have made tens of millions of dollars off of that program. You had to have. Like I know he did. Right? Like, when is enough? It's weird. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about who it is, and I'm not going to even acknowledge who it is. But he promoted that coin big time.
I love the tangent of comments that Evan was cooking up here earlier, and just got into. I bet Atlantis was run by blockchain.
Yeah,
that made me really happy reading that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to doubt it. That's for sure.
Let's remember J.P. Morgan. Jamie Dimon was the guy that quoted blockchain, not Bitcoin. Yet they just had a report come out this past week that said, no matter what coin going out into the future ever has an ETF, it will never match the ETF value of Bitcoin. Ever. That was their analysis after 20 of their best brains in a room a year later. They're like, no coin will ever match it. Yet they still don't promote Bitcoin. Well, the CEO of the company doesn't. I'm sure he owns a bunch of it. but he won't promote it publicly. Yeah. But yet there's still a lot of people out there that claim, well, Bitcoin's the chosen one. It's like, huh, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see it, but maybe chosen by who? You would think Jamie Dimon would promote Bitcoin if he thought it was the chosen coin. You would think.
Gary was paid to be a puppet, or he's just one big walking, talking puppet, and he's just like, whoa, dude, they're gonna pay me to do this? They're gonna pay me to do this thing that I do? Sweet.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I hope I don't have to hear about that guy anymore. I really. Is he gone? Is he gone?
Well, did you hear what the Winkle box
from any kind of political or financial controls? That.
Did you hear what the Winklevoss twins just did?
No, what did they do? The Winklevi?
Okay, well, so Gary got hired to go back and teach at MIT.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's going to, whatever. And the funny thing is Winklevoss twins said, oh, okay, well, us at Gemini will never be hiring anybody from MIT going forward. Period. We're done. Yeah.
Strong.
If you want to support that guy in your school and claim that he's what you need to teach the future of our youth, we don't want those youth. And that, by the way, I've heard this from more than one high-ranking CEO individual, and this really is off topic, but I'm going to talk about it here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in the world today is a lot of the kids coming out of university are not fitting into corporations well, because they are, how do I put this? Less interested in creating a better product or a better company or more profitable company, as more concerned about social things.
Mm-hmm.
And in other words, they're more political activists than what they've been hired to do. And that's a real riff right now. Corporate America is like, well, I don't care what your personal opinion or thoughts are. I care about, can you program this?
Right.
And there's a big, that whole thing is really a mess right now, because there's brilliant minds that are coming out of university that are so politically or emotionally vetted into what they believe the world should be, that they're vocalizing that in a way that people can't set their differences aside and actually do their job and achieve a goal. It's a big thing right now in the world, and it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's part of the growth of man. That's where we find ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Broken record. I really would like to see the people iron out the social issues of the world. I think we've had help from laws and the two sides that, you always talk crap on the radical sides of everything, but at least it shaped, like a type of equality or a move forward in equality, and less of a hatred for other people, or less of a misunderstanding. Like I don't like know anybody my age. Like I couldn't tell you, any of you, somebody that I was like, man, they're just a racist, sexist piece of crap. Like I don't know any of them, and I remember that being different even when I was a kid. So I'm hoping that social shift and what we need to do. That's the other thing, is that it's always a regional breakdown. You can mandate something throughout the whole country. You can do it through states, but there are specific regions and specific types of businesses, like farming comes to mind, where it's like you need to protect that specific type of business, you know, in the midst of radicalism. You know, there has to be a logical argument that makes sense to write bills or to change law. And I'm impressed by people in that. I know we all know people who've made us question it and doubt it, and you know, we're disappointed with them. And we can paint people like that very easily. But I'm choosing not to do that. I'm really in the future here. We've let politics, especially, just blind us all, you know. And there are things like just in this country that have to be fought for on both sides. They have to be supported.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to be one of those people in life that can have people can have a safe place around me to talk about what they're passionate about, you know, and sure. why it's important.
Yeah. It's for some reason there's been this push for people to express that. And it's like, well, personally, you know, when you have a plumber come into your house, I just don't really need to know his political views.
Right.
And typically that level of our society doesn't actually walk into your house and tell you what they think, thankfully. It only seems to happen in corporate America. And
yeah,
I'm going to guess big companies like Google and some, you know, the FANG companies have really promoted a lot of that. And I think they're in a lot of trouble because they're not going to be competing in the future of the economy of the world.
Yeah.
That's doing nothing but drag them down because it brings them, not because their views are wrong, it's because that indecisiveness does not succeed. It enables conflict. And if you're constantly debating over what color the napkin should be for lunch, you never have lunch, right?
Right.
We need there's certain elements that aren't relevant to the project that just have to be done, you know. I had a great conversation with a guy the other day, a couple of weeks ago now, but one of the things you learn as a boat captain is you have to be skilled at people. And one of the skills you have to have, really important, is a lot of people don't know this. Well, they probably do after that, whatever that show is on TV now. I don't even know the name of it. But that when you have young people working for you and with you, they can't, when you're working as a team and one's sleeping with one and then they're sleeping with the other one, and then this person's really emotional about that fact that her boyfriend is now her best friend's boyfriend, and it's up to me to tell her to put her mascara on, get on deck with a smile, and listen to the snotty billionaire kid tell her that what a POS she is with a smile. It's not easy. You have to be skilled as a captain, and you have to be skilled in humanity to a level that most people can't relate. That most people cannot understand how you could do that and live on a building that's 100 feet long and live in that environment and pull it off successfully. And when you can do that well, then you got a good grasp on humanity, But the way you achieve that is expressing to the person who's just lost her boyfriend how incredible her life is.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you focus on how it sucks or how bad it is or what an SOB he is or all of the problems of that never amounts to success.
No.
The success comes from the fact that you explain to this individual how incredible her life is. And going forward, your life's better off without that guy. And that is the key, is always seeing tomorrow or the next moment of being better and being the advantage to you in your life. When you can teach that, you don't care about walking into a corporation and trying to change everybody's opinion about race or whatever it might be. There's no value in that. You're going to convince everybody in the board what you politically believe? No.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do is focus on what the board can do well tomorrow. When you can be that person for a company, you're inexpendable. You are printing your own salary and you're moving up the board. That's what. And the other person ends up in HR. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And they get to plan when the meetings take place. And that's about it.
My dad had a boss, and he didn't like the look of the deployable safety raft that all motor yachts have to carry on board. You know, case the boat goes down. You know, once the boat sinks, basically this unit deploys, and
Automatically.
It's got badass little boat comes out of this box. Radio and everything that you want in a situation like that. Well, he didn't like the look of it.
No.
It's the story that I heard from you, Dad. He didn't like the look of it. So, Alan, get it off, the front of my good-looking boat. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not a, at some point you have to be a yacht captain and you have to do your job well. And you have to think of the outcome for the whole of everybody that's going to ride on that boat, whether you're going in the bay or you're going, for days out to sea. You might want to have that. Have that. And that's something I'm trying to even lessen more and more of. It's like, when it comes to people's safety, that's like a non-negotiable to me. That's right. I don't care about how it looks. I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't put looks above, the well-being and safety of all. And
I ended up a quick little story. I had a lady fly in, the boss's wife. This was a charter. And we were in St. Thomas, and she flied in and says, "Oh, Captain, I can't wait to share the plan for the week." And I was like, "Oh, great. Let's look at it." And it was comical. Everywhere she wanted to go, I was like, "No, we're not going there." It's like, "Oh no, look, see, it's over here, and there's a little lagoon and a beach." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, we're not going there." She's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't understand why you're fighting me on everything. It's our charter and I want to go there." And I'm like, "Look, there's places we can go that are different than I would normally go. I'd love that. But none of those are the ones that you've just chosen here. There's actual safety reasons why you don't want to go to any of those places. It's very dangerous to you and your family. It's uncomfortable. We're going to be seasick by the time we get there. And then the anchorage is terrible and there's nowhere to drop a hook. There's no sand. It's like, you don't want to go there. I don't care what it looks like on your map, from your town home in New York City. It doesn't apply. So she goes to her husband and just says he's incorrigible. He's absolutely the wrong captain, and we got to get a different crew. And I'm like, so I sit down with him and I'm like, look, I explained it's not safe for your family to go here, here, here. And the ones that safety isn't the problem, you're all going to get seasick getting there. Is that what you guys want? Because you're on vacation, you can get the seasick if you want. Within 5 minutes, I can get everybody in your family puking in one barrel. Is that why you're on vacation here, man? Like, I promise you, in 5 minutes, and that's how you get to where she wants to go. So it's so funny because people try and tell you how to do your job, or that's what I don't like about lawyers and politicians. They're always passing laws that they have no idea what it takes to do the job. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you don't know what you're talking about,
Supporting people to do the best version of the job that they have been trained to do.
Right.
Would be nice. That would be, I know that's a reach, it's a stretch.
Yeah. Or why did they drain the reservoir above Pacific Palisades before they even had a contractor to do the job? Like, what? Like, the last thing you do is drain and then you do it when there's not a fire season, like, it's sort of like, when you're going to Disneyland and you're driving to Disneyland and they're repairing the freeway on July 4th weekend. You're like, what are you doing, man? Why are you fixing the biggest traffic day? You've got traffic blocked off, and it's like, I don't know. Nobody thinks logically about how to get many things done. Anyway, we're off on a tangent here now, aren't we?
Yeah, she wanted to go where all the pirates were at.
Right. That's it.
You'll love it. You'll love it when the boat capsizes. Or hits a sandbar, which is a really common one out in the out by the Bahamas and all that. Very, very common.
Yeah, there's nothing more fun than tequila bottles flying through the air and crashing into the place, and then there's glass all over the floor or whatever. Yeah, now we're having fun. Yeah.
Professor just got done. Where's he at? Sitting on my boat, listening to the show. Just got done giving tours in the Everglades.
Nice.
So cool, brother. I've done that with my dad before. That is so fun.
Yeah, our brother-in-law had an airboat. I actually went alligator hunting. We got a gator one night, 12-footer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit. Yeah, fun. Fun, they said.
Right. Yeah. There's something about pissing off a 12-foot lizard that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the professor is a bird man, animal man. He's like, I'd love to go on a tour with him. I'd probably see the Everglades in a whole different way.
Yeah.
I didn't know he must have an airboat, huh? That's cool.
I got to call that guy.
What? Okay, one of the things I have on my show notes here is I'm doing a show coming up this coming week. In fact, I shot it the other day and erased it. I'm really looking forward to this show because I think we're all going to learn a lot about where the money is, where it's all tied up, and how that's going to be just like a piggy bank, just shaken out of it, and where it's all going to settle, according to this man. That's kind of my angle for a show this coming week. It's going to be fun. You guys are going to like that. Oh, and if you're not a Patreon member, you're really going to want to watch the show that I'm about to post.
Okay.
I have a Patreon show coming up that is really good. You guys are going to like it. And it's just for Patreon members. It's not like there's any F-bombs or anything in it, but it's, I want to just kind of thank everybody.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that, Sam. Yeah, we put all of our videos on there now. Thank you, Joanna. Yeah, can't wait to have a bigger presence over there. You guys are paying us to do it, and yeah, we're gonna put some cool stuff on there this year. That is my number one goal, personally, on this channel, is to do that and to really show your voices, all of you who want to be a part of that. That's what this thing is, baby. It's crew, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Hey, Gator tastes like chicken, baby. Okay.
Oh yeah,
we're here for it.
It does too.
That alligator etouffee. Delicious.
It depends on the part of the gator. The thighs are gamey.
Oh.
Yeah, real gamey.
That's not good.
Chewy.
Sure.
They are. The rest of it, gator's tasty. I liked it. Yeah. Depends on how you cook it, I suppose. What is Atlantic up to now? What do we got here? Hey guys, what's going on? Ada. He says crazy things happening in February. He's not able to talk about it.
We gotta dig in deep on that. What are the big things that Cardano could have going on?
I don't know how many people know this, but what Cardano did with there's a thing called Midnight. You guys should look into it. What they did is they got in. There's a thing that Bitcoin did about 2 or 3 years ago called Taproot. Okay. And it's essentially the way that they can build everything on Bitcoin in a nutshell. Okay. Well, Charles never liked Bitcoin. Well, he always liked Bitcoin, but he thought, well, our technology is way better, and those guys are barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, it's great that they invented the stone wheel, but it's a stone wheel and it's slow and it's not going to work for the technology that we want to use going forward. Well, I don't know what happened to him, but about 4 or 5 months ago, he grew a different perspective somehow. And he started working with people who are working with Bitcoin specifically on the blockchain with Taproot. And they're going to link Midnight and Taproot. They already have. And essentially, they're going to buy and sell all transactions through Cardano, that you could buy or sell any Bitcoin anywhere in the world through a Cardano network.
Wow.
Yet also working with Ripple. So I don't know what they have planned, and I know HBAR is involved too. I don't know what they have planned, but he's very excited about it. All of that to say, what people don't know in particular, if you only follow XRP news or only Cardano news, or a lot of people don't understand how big Taproot was. Essentially, they're putting the duplication of every project, every coin, every blockchain that exists in a generic form of whatever your coin might do on the Bitcoin blockchain. So in other words, if you have Solana technology and it's really lightning fast, or you have XRP technology and it has all this, they're doing the same thing on Bitcoin blockchain. The identical product. Is it going to succeed? I don't know. But to say that it's going to fail, I don't think so, because the Bitcoin blockchain is so simple and so logical that it makes sense that you would build something really sophisticated and put it on something simple. Anyway, that's in a nutshell. I did a video about 2 or 3 months ago, about a month ago, 2 of them, talking about February 1st. The first week of February is going to be the beginning of absolutely mind-blowing movement in crypto, in my opinion. And that's because the banks are all in. The banks are moving money, and the banks are moving money into crypto. And I was told that by somebody pretty well connected who told me, look out for February. And I said, okay, good, bad, or indifferent. Unbelievable what's coming. So the dip that we're in right now, I don't know that it's going to last. I don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody really knows. Yeah.
Ooh, some bullish news today on that, Dad. I love that.
Yeah. Well, no, I've said it for a while now. February 1st, I've been told.
Yeah. But the why?
And historically, February is I think our best month. February or March, I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say it's March.
Yeah, it's one of our best months. Or is it? No, I think October's our best. October, November, I think is our best month. But February is really good. And March is really good usually. Yeah.
Want to say hi to OG. Good to see you in, brother. Man, life's treating us good, man. We're busy.
Yeah.
Is Bitcoin going to retrace to $20,000? Asked Joanna.
No.
Yeah, I don't see a world where that happens, like ever. But I've been wrong before.
Well, if the complete collapse of our banking system happens or were to occur and we have a complete reset, then I would say, yeah, I maybe. One other thing.
The thing my friend Steven brought this up to me yesterday, Dad. Is it right? Is it the chosen one, or is something going to come along someday that's going to be better? That's going to be more widely used. And that I could see potentially happening too.
Well, there's 20 projects that are already better.
Right. But they don't hold the people's knowledge of it, how widely it's used in the world right now. Bitcoin's still here. Everyone else here. Yeah. I could see that inverting, and everybody wants to, okay, it's like, man, I have to have this thing because this is the new thing. Then a retrace.
No,
but man, I don't.
No,
for a while, man. For a while, I don't think.
Yeah, the reason why I'm going to say that is because you're at 93, 95% of all the Bitcoin has been distributed, mined,
Mhm.
and big money is just now finding it. Um, little man is kind of not included much anymore with Bitcoin. And that tells me the success of Bitcoin is just going to go ballistic because the little man is never smart enough to hang on to the right product. And you know, that's facts. 95% of the people. Don't you remember me saying 5 and 6 years ago that you should never ever sell your Bitcoin no matter what?
Mhm.
And everybody I ever said that to laughed in my face and told me, well, why would you buy it then? That's
Everyone.
the logic of man.
Yeah.
Well, Bitcoin's the only one that's gone past that point now. It's beyond the point of, if you guys knew how little Bitcoin there is available on the markets, you would be selling your cat to buy Bitcoin.
Mhm.
There's people I talk to that are just like, yeah, well, I I'm selling all of my other coins and I'm buying Bitcoin. And I'm like, wow, well, that's kind of bold. And they're like, I don't know how much longer I can get it. Like when you talk to Caleb and Brown,
That's
they're like,
interesting.
dude, there are no Bitcoins. Like, don't promote anything else, Alan. Get your people to buy these things because there's none of them left. And I'm like, well, yeah, but they've just made 5x on XRP,
Yeah.
and it's hard for them to see anything other than that. But remember, this is something I just had a conversation with somebody on the phone not long ago. Okay, so you made let's say at $100,000 worth of XRP, and now you have $500,000 worth of XRP, and you say, okay, well, if I want a Bitcoin, I can just sell 100,000 of it and buy Bitcoin, and that way I'll have a whole Bitcoin. Today you can do that. That's correct. But there's going to come a time when there's going to go no offer, no bid. It's not going to be for sale in the public. And that's not long from now.
Mhm.
That's math. That doesn't have anything to do with this man's opinion. That's the math of the situation that you're living in. So you're going to be okay, well, I made $10 million in XRP. What do I care whether or not I own a Bitcoin? Well, sort of like I said in my video the other day, Miss Christine Lagarde can talk negatively about Bitcoin, but she will fall like all the other people for the last 16 years have fallen to a coin that does not care who you are, how big your guns are, how big your government is, how smart you think you are. You all fall to Bitcoin. And they have all fallen. And they all will. Because of adoption. Because the top own it now. That's
Mhm.
why your friend, well, yeah, you could come up with dog with hat might overtake Bitcoin. No, that's not going to happen. Because the people who have all this old stinky money are piled it up and own it and aren't going to sell it.
Yep.
So therefore, its scarcity is just absurd. And mankind has never dealt with anything this scarce ever. Even a Mona Lisa, you can make another one, but how are you going to make another Bitcoin? You're not going to do that. And mankind has never had to wrap its mind around that. That's when the exponentiality of man's thought can't go there. We can't understand compounding interest. We don't understand where this number could be to. And I know all of us, including myself, is going to be Joe Sixpack's mentality is going to be, who cares? Who wants that damn thing anyway? I don't even want the damn thing. Why would I want it? What am I going to use it for? just picture this now. That's exactly what anybody under the age of 40 feels about gold. They don't care. It's just a rock. What would I do with it? I don't need it. I don't want it. But central banks own it because they're going to base the little money that you and I pay all of our little bills on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you own the thing that all the money is based upon, your exponential value becomes beyond numbers. It's power. We're developing a power network with Bitcoin. It's bigger than dollars. And people can't wrap their head around that. They just can't. You're creating a dynasty is what you're creating with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Saylor, just to like him or not, is going to be the number one banking institution in the world. Because they, as a company, own those coins. BlackRock does not own those coins. All the people that bought the ETFs own those coins, not BlackRock. Michael Saylor's, he's about to buy trillions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Billy Bob makes a great point. How about quant? More scarce than Bitcoin with legit utility. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
How many people own quant? How many people even know about it?
Not many.
Is Coca-Cola the best flavor in the world? No. Is anybody going to beat it? No. It's adoption. It's network value. It's some things are fair. Right?
It's
yeah.
Okay. All the banks are getting it. All the laws are opening up to it. What is the next 10 decade of products going to look like in our banking systems, crypto-wise? Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin's not going to be the network.
And there will be the others, right? The others will funnel in here too, and already are. But
yeah,
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is not going to be the network. It's not going to be the transactions. It's just like a gold coin is not the transactions. Nobody transacts in gold coins. Why would you? It's too valuable, right? Bitcoin is not going to be transactional speed. So that argument of, in particular, XRP people are always telling me, oh, it's too slow. It's useless, Alan. I'm like, useless? Is that why you did $20 trillion in trades last year? You're like, how do you explain that? When XRP did 70, I think it was 70 billion. Like, how do you explain that? Like, it's because it's value. Like, all the value of Bitcoin is going to move on XRP. XRP is like the railroad, right? But it's not the cargo going over it. Well, maybe one day it might be, but you don't want your storage of value to be the transaction. You don't want to spend your Bitcoin on a coffee that you're just going to piss out an hour later. That doesn't make any sense. You want the dollar to be what you piss out, not something that's an asset of scarcity and the world's wrapping its mind. People are wrapping their, finally, governments and states. What are we up to? 15? I heard 15 states. Utah is going to be first, from what I heard. And you notice they're not buying XRP. These nations aren't buying XRP yet. Why? Because there's a time element with Bitcoin.
Right. They still have time.
Yeah. And we live now. And yeah.
So much I want to say on that, man. I'm just not going to say it. Everybody knows.
So Alan, you're basically saying that BTC is the game of greater fool theory.
I'd like to look that up. If that's something.
That's essentially what I'm saying. Just like beads were, just like gold is today, just like
seashells.
Greater fool? No, it's what we equate value to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Man's perception of value is about to change in a level that it's never seen before. Gold is not scarce on this planet, guys. I got news for people. It's simply not. I hate to bring that to everybody, but
no.
I think there's less than 1 million Bitcoin left to be mined. And that's going to take 100 years. Look, that anyway, I go on about this with Bitcoin, but most XRP people don't understand Bitcoin. They don't know enough about it. They haven't learned anything about it. And they get told by XRP people that they shouldn't own it. Okay. Yeah. But my two favorite coins are those two projects. And for very good reasons, I like both of them equally, just they're completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I like blondes and brunettes.
I'm glad we got them both walking around on the earth, you know?
Big fan of both. Yeah. Not so much into redheads, you know, but, you know, blondes and brunettes, I'm in. Love them both equally. Depends on, you know, all of it.
Not selling tittles, Dad. All right? How you could even think of pawning your animal to purchase cryptocurrency is frankly insulting, sir.
I know it is. There won't be CBDCs. Yeah.
I hope not, Dave. It's my great hope. It was actually the thing I was most riled up about this week. And when I was digging into the whole, you know, what's going to happen in this current administration in my country, there better not be. There better not be. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take a big old dump on it. Just telling you. There's reasons you don't want that. And they're good reasons.
Billy Bob, dude, you still don't get it. Okay. I love you, brother. You still don't get it. Okay.
Gentlemen.
Bitcoin is not an investment. You understand that? You're not investing in Bitcoin. You're using Bitcoin as a trade. What I'm telling you is if the value of all things is equated to it in mankind's future, why would you ever sell it? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not explaining myself very well, evidently, but it's the same thing I feel about XRP. It's like, I use this all the time, but a sports franchise, if you own the Lakers, you don't sell the Lakers. Well, why not, Alan? Well, they're worth more today than they were 5 years ago. Why would I made a bunch? Look how much money I made off of them. Because the rest of mankind wants what you own. That's why you don't sell it.
And the future of it and XRP, as far as us using it, and
Yeah.
interacting with it. That's why sports teams have merchandising and tickets and
Right.
games and TV rights and all these different things that's what, okay, I got that revenue coming in from it. That's what I do. I don't sell my team. I don't know. Unless I need a big chunk of cash, I don't sell any part of my team, because team make money. And
That's
yes,
right.
that's it. And that's the huge part, Dad, is it's the appreciation of, look what the sports teams have done in the last 10 years. I mean, you used to be able to
Right.
get them for millions of dollars, and then it was billions of dollars. Now it's trillions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all fall into the couple of categories here. Okay. And let me explain how big money works. I know none of us in this room are big money people, but I'm going to explain something real quick for you. Okay. Yes, they make a lot of money off selling beer to people. The Lakers do. But if the Lakers want to build a new arena, beer money isn't involved at all.
Mhm.
What the Lakers do is they walk over to 5 of the massive size banks and they say, look, we want a new arena. We want $2 billion from you. And the reason why they give them the $2 billion without selling even one piece or one beer to the bank is because the net asset value of that team and its future income, they're good for it. They're good for the loan. They're good even. What's going on with Michael Saylor? Banks are tripping over each other trying to loan the man $1 billion.
Yeah. It's funny, like every month you hear him, oh, they just bought a whole nother bunch of it. And you're like, who gave them the money to do that? How did they do that? Because of that.
And not unlike a few of the XRP people who have shouldn't say that, billions of coins, one day those people are going to rule the world as well. Because that's how man sees value. Man sees value in, oh, wow, that's the Lakers. Oh, that's Brad Garlinghouse, who has 1 billion coins of XRP. Elon Musk owns Tesla. Like, that's how we equate value to things. Well, somebody's going to say that guy owns a Bitcoin. No way, a whole coin? No. Really? He's just driving a normal truck. How's that possible? He owns a whole Bitcoin. Now, is there going to come a day when somebody's going to say, hey, that person over there owns a whole XRP? Maybe, probably one day. Probably. I can tell you that's decades away compared to how soon it'll happen with Bitcoin. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to equate here. I'm not saying one's better than the other. The one's an apple and one's an orange. They're totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, people, when you understand true movement's the wrong word. When you understand the true falling of the Lagarde in this case, of everybody that's fallen to Bitcoin and is continually falling to Bitcoin. Look, nation states, 14, 15 states in this country alone are wanting to put their money into Bitcoin and hold them forever. They're not buying toasters or lumber or diamonds or gold. Just wrap your head around that. It's not too late for you to get this. Why are the smartest people in the room falling victim to something that Well, they'll just make it go away one day, Alan. Remember we used to hear that 10 years ago? Remember I had that conversation. We were at that party in Vegas and Gary came up to us. Oh, the government's just going to get rid of that, Alan.
Yeah.
What we realize is they can't.
They can't.
They can't. It's physically impossible for them to stop it, or they would have. Right?
Yeah.
So they're falling victim to it in the case of, we better get it now. We better get it now before we never can get it in the future. And it's a concept that's really hard for people because we've never had true scarcity in something that tens of millions of people understand.
Right.
And it's just math. You eventually fall victim to code and math. And I get this one. Well, man created it, Alan. Yeah, we created the concept of it. And you need man to create the concept of it because why? Man knows all man's weaknesses. So if you figure out all of man's financial weaknesses and then you create something with software to avoid all of those and outsmart all of those, you can base something on something that important. And that's what somebody has done. And I don't care who did it. And I know a lot of people will, tell me, oh, well, we don't know who Satoshi is. So, yeah. And don't give me that homeland security thing anymore, okay? Please don't give me that. I heard a very intelligent crypto guy tell me that the other day, and I almost laughed out loud.
Oh man, who wrote this comment? It was so good. I'm gonna try to go back real quick.
My battery's done.
Much love. You have to be self-sufficient to avoid central control. I wrote that down. That's going on my desk. I want to see who. I'm going to look back through the chat and see who wrote it. But we've got to be self-sufficient. That's, to me, it's like the only outcome. And I'm excited because so many. A light I'll shine on Bitcoin is so many people know how this technology works now. Tens of millions of people, maybe more than that now, because of it, because of how well it was done. Perfect? No. XRP perfect? No. Take any other project you want? Probably not perfect.
Right.
And better, and even better to come in the future. But I think it would be wrong for us to not bring this conversation up, Dad, or talk about it. And I'm glad you feel that way about both, because it's looking at it objectively. You've got people in the group who just want to make money on this. They just want an asset to appreciate over the next bull run, and then they're going to sell it and buy their dream home. Good for you. Awesome. Some people want to be wealthy. And how do you get wealthy? It's by buying things like this. There's other ways to get wealthy, but this is one of those things. I love what you said, the finite nature of it. And we've been talking about this for over a year, you and I. Just when's the day come where exchanges aren't going to sell you Bitcoin anymore? It's coming.
Right.
It's coming. Or they lie to you about how much that they have. That's also coming. So what that is can be a valuable tool.
Right.
And yes, they cannot make it go away. I've studied Bitcoin more than any other coin. They can't make it go away.
I get this one a lot. Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Dude, how do you first of all, if you believe anything Homeland Security tells you, you really need to wake up. Okay. You need to wake up and you need to figure out who those people are and why they're telling you what they're telling you. And if Homeland Security really cared about you and your safety and your well-being, why didn't Homeland Security 15 years ago tell you to buy it? But you know that Bitcoin's gone up like 80 million times. Like if you had bought $1 of it back when that interview supposedly happened, you'd have $80 million today. Like what I'm trying to say is Homeland Security says a lot of things, man. What happened to me and my crew after 9/11 because of Homeland Security? Well, I can't do that video right now, but it would blow your mind. Okay. Those people are not honest. And if you think they are, well, good for you. That's cool. And yeah, this one also is a good one. NSA creation. Okay, maybe, possibly. So
Probably.
Yeah, possibly. Right. Let's just go there. So they created this perfect thing. How come they didn't buy a bunch of it? That's kind of crazy. The other thing about that is they also created the internet, Wi-Fi, in which you're using both of those every day. They also created a little thing called cryptography. Were you aware of that? And your coin or every coin that you think is incredible is secured by it. So what's your point? What is the point of that? And it's frustrating to me because people say, oh, well, I don't like this about something. So I'll say, well, somebody said something negative about it, and I'll base my entire philosophy and theory about the coin on one federal agency that said they don't like it. Well, okay. All right. Whatever. Good luck with that one.
And we don't know if that's your take or not on it. And we don't, based on even that comment. So
right.
Take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, please. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Every
day. Father,
I know the 5 channels that are promoting that every show they have. And they're XRP shows, and I love them like brothers. They're smart people. They're really good, and they say that in every episode. That's what they tell people. We know who created it, and we know it's this and that. And that's what they show. Every show they do. And they've brainwashed a lot of people. And I just want everybody to understand 5-10 years from now, just remember the reason why you don't own any Bitcoin is because of those shows. And I'm not saying you should buy Bitcoin. I'm saying you should be objective and do your own homework. Don't just listen to somebody parrot an idea to you. Oh, it's bad. I need this other coin because this person told me.
Yeah, Billy Bob, God bless you, brother. This is an important conversation, especially going into a bull run. And I saw this meme the other day, and it was like, oh man, it's still low, we gotta buy. And then there's a guy, burning in fire. It was Darth Vader, right? He's like coming out of the lava fire, all burnt. He's like, with what money? So we do have to be choosy about what we purchase, and but it's all about making the plan of what you want in the future. And that's why I love that you talk about Bitcoin the way that you do, Dad. I appreciate the objectivity because it's real scarce. It is real popular and it is real scarce. And it's not useless. It's I would even argue that it's not.
That's the one that frustrates me the most.
Yeah. it's utility on top of utility. It made this type of technology that could potentially help the world. And what I care about is helping the people. It changed it forever. It really did. And I don't think nothing about it. I think opposite of that.
This is a great comment because I want to point out something. There's not two dogs fighting here.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't two, like, there shouldn't be two dogs fighting. They're just not, there is no dog fight here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, blondes and brunettes again. It's like, what's the argument? What are we arguing about? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, they do different things and they're different products. And and by the way, if I had only $1,000 to invest, I wouldn't buy any Bitcoin tomorrow.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't. I'd probably buy XRP.
Yeah.
If that's all I had, right? But before I profited too long and before I waited too long, I definitely would find a way to get some Satoshis. I just would, because if you're going to base the future of all value on something, you might want to own something of what that value is. I'm just saying. And it might not be what they base all the value on. You just never know. You
guys are awesome, man. I like it.
I didn't know Coach JV was into Bitcoin. I didn't know that. He's one of the few XRP people I think that are, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he was. That's cool to hear he is.
Notice the crew is complete entertainment and never any type of advice, including financial.
Yeah.
Joanna, perfect. This is perfect.
Yep. Oh
God, I love you guys. I gotta get out of here.
I do too. It's too beautiful. It's a beautiful day here, man.
Yeah, I hope it warms up for all our northern friends. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're just freezing.
Secret Weapons got a 30 below going today. That's
what?
Right. That's wrong, man.
Yeah. Okay.
That's wrong, bro.
I mean, I love you like a brother, Northern, but at some point, sanity has to come to you. All right? Like, 30 below is not meant for human existence. I'm sorry. I don't even care if it only happens one day a year. It's like, you got to look yourself in the mirror and go, wow, dude, really? Is this what I want to do? I don't know, every 6 months out of my life? I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah. Man, I love the comments. I love that we were actually answering some of them too. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
I've got dogs here that want me to do things other than shoot video. So
yeah,
we got to roll.
I'm going to do the same. Let's get everybody out. Quick cut at Crawfish. Teresa, good to have you in.
Resist control. Love that. Love that. Muddy, Teresa. Teresa, how I didn't even see her in there.
I think she just got in there.
Yeah, Waters Above has Bitcoin too. That's cool. I didn't know that. I keep meaning to catch that guy's show. I've seen a couple little bits and pieces of it. Okay, we got to get out of here, B-Man.
There's for Peaky. I'm gonna call him, Becky. I'm gonna call him. Love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a great week. Be good to each other.
Love you, B-Man.
Love you too, Dad.